How are you?
How are you, sir? Very well, thank you. Thank you for
Very,
having me.
very good. Thank you for being here on time. This is good. Oh, really? I'm telling you, whenever my guests
Hmm,
arrive on time, I'm grateful. I'm grateful because it's not every one of us who are timekeepers.
true.
Yeah, yeah. How are you?
Very well, thank you. All of a sudden, all of it, this light you just saw now just came in like 2 minutes ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
so tell me, how is the lights, how erratic is the light in your area?
So I think I mean, power normally stays, but I think we're just going through some type of electrical issue,
Mm,
you know. So it's been it's not been consistent. It's on
yeah.
this time around, thank God. But it's just like you mentioned, it's erratic, on and off, on and off, on and off. But thank God. I mean, I'm happy. Power. I mean, we need power. I can't believe it. We need power to do everything.
See,
But you're only thankful that you see it now.
see, if Nigeria and Africa as a whole
Mm,
is going to make massive progress in this century,
mm,
the issue of power is a must. We need to have power because everything, like you said, everything we do needs power, you know? And if you can solve the power issue, then we can. So, see, the technology of power
mm.
has been around for almost 200 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It was in
True.
the late 19th century
Mm,
that electricity was commercialized, and we are still struggling with it. And we're not struggling with it because we don't understand the technology. In fact, we don't even need to understand it. All we need to do
mm.
is call Siemens or any of the other power generating companies to come
Yeah.
and install their power generators,
Hmm.
and we,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. But then
That's it.
why is it not working? anyway,
Think that.
anyway, let's go back. Let's go back.
Mm.
This is Abiye Briggs. So Abiye, welcome to the show. Please,
Thank
please introduce yourself. Tell them what you do, and let's go from there.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you again. So on the question on what I do, I believe I had to rise to the occasion, and that's what I'll tell anyone in Nigeria, anyone who's a young person like me, rise up to the occasion. You went to university, you graduated now, or the issue of, what do I begin to do? No jobs, etc. You have to rise up to the occasion. So I rose up to the occasion about now 7 years ago, fresh out of university, about 23, 24. And I just began to evolve. I just began to learn new things. Because there are no jobs, so you can't really. I studied electrical engineering.
Okay.
At, yeah,
Ah,
uh,
okay. We'll come
yeah,
back to that.
yeah. At the University of Port Harcourt, and NYC brought me to Abuja, where I'm currently, and I just decided to stay and start off fresh and find my feet into entrepreneurship, found my feet in public speaking, found my feet in technology. I have a tech startup, an e-commerce startup, and got into education, and now I've gotten into civic engagement. So it's me at every point in time saying you have to rise up to the occasion, and that would mean rise up to the occasion for you to get yourself self-employed, to earn, rise up to the occasion to earn real money, rise up to the occasion to take up credible work. So that is what I'm gonna tell any young person, and I mean this is my introduction.
This is interesting. See, we just started by talking about the erratic power situation in Nigeria, and here you are, electrical engineer. So, see, I will hold your feet to fire. Okay. Yes. See, so tell me, like I just said, what is holding us from having constant power? See, you are an electrical engineer. You just said, yeah, you into technology. Why are you not involved in power generation, power distribution? Why are you doing other things than what you studied in school?
I know. So again, it's me rising up to the occasion. I haven't discovered that there are no opportunities, not many opportunities in the electrical sector. How many facilities do we even have apart from NEPA?
NEPA, yeah.
The Ministry of or the Ministry of Power, in Nigeria. So what other electrical power generating, energy generating company or industry do we have? There are none. So you have thousands and thousands of students graduating from these degrees and never ever finding a way to put them into practice, never ever finding a way. I mean, they are not. So imagine it's tough out there that I graduated with electrical engineering. I'm never able to find a job in that field. And you know how that industry, you have to bag a whole lot of experience, which was not something I could even find. I have friends who even had first classes, very, very high 2-1s. They got into the Ministry of Power. They got frustrated, So it's crazy, but that's our reality here in Nigeria.
See, this is something maybe we need, our educational system need to address, because we can't be churning out graduates in engineering and they can't find jobs and they can't start something, because like you said, you need a lot of experience to do that. Okay. One thing about us again is that as young people, the level of science education in a country hasn't gotten to the level where young people try things in their homes, because hey, in the West, a lot of young people who actually go to school, university, and graduate and start tech companies, they have been doing things from childhood. Many, they have been doing so many things. Unfortunately, our level of STEM education in secondary schools haven't gotten to that place where young people can do things. They just go to school, come back, go to the garage, and do things. So we haven't got to that place. So that's what we need. That's what we need.
Yes.
So now you are involved in so many different things. I mean, hey, what actually caught my attention was when I read what you are interested in, the permanent voters card. I mean, tell me about it. Why that initiative? What is it in the first place, and why did it do that?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So it is, so PVC is a permanent voters card in Nigeria. I mean, that's the acronym for the permanent voters card.
Okay.
So what I added to it is PVC activism.
Okay.
So activism is
that's what you do.
Yeah. So PVC activism is what I do, and it was from the NSAS protests.
Okay.
I thought to myself that if out of how the NSAS protest ended, I said to myself, if anything, I was going to champion, that young people should go get their permanent voters card, because it was the only tool, that's a tool to cause a change in the politics, in the system in Nigeria. That's what we have in a democratic nation as we are.
Yeah.
That's what we have. So I was going to champion it. And I began to do that, having talked to 2, 3, 4 friends, and we said, let's go do it. And down the line, 3 fell out. I still carried on. I still carried on. It's now about 17 months now, and I've still stayed on it. So I believe young people, there has to be a tone as to causing. I mean, why would young people go get their PVCs? Why would they go register to vote?
Yeah.
And I felt it's not really voter registration, voter education doesn't have a tone. People don't really. So I just added the activism part, which is, hey, this is what I'm going to do 2-4-7. I'm going to be in your faces 2-4-7. Encouraging you to get your PVCs, talking about the policies, getting to advocacy and how to make this permanent voters card even easier for young people to get them, anyone to get them. So I'm now in the role of advocacy in the civic space, encouraging voter registration, encouraging voter education amongst the young people. So that is the long and short about what I'm doing in PVC activism.
Okay, that's great. See, interestingly, young people all over the world do a lot of talking. Okay, do a lot of talking, do a lot of protesting. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty in a democratic country, young people don't come out to vote. Okay, today in the UK, today is an election day. Okay, every first Friday of May in this country, there's local election in this country. See, yeah. So just like in Nigeria, here, the US, any other democratic country, young people don't go and vote. You see, and looking at the NSAS protest, which I applaud you young guys in Nigeria, you did a great thing by alerting the whole world about what is going on, about police brutality. Okay, I suffered it as a young person, but I wasn't brave enough to go on protest. Okay, so you guys did it. Now you have done the protest. Now it's time for you to ramp it up by getting the right candidates into office. Okay, to continue pushing what you guys want. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are doing this permanent voters card advocacy. So how how much of young people are you getting on board?
All right, so that's
yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I'm happy. I'm really happy to see this. I think the NSAS protest caused a stir, and everyone is now, many people, I won't say everyone, but a lot.
Yeah.
I was also at the last end, of not really caring about civic engagement. I wasn't just aware, of what I needed to do. So the NSAS caused the word is, I think it woke us up as young people, and that caused a chain reaction. I can tell you, I have friends like Basil, many friends who are doing one thing or the other in the civic engagement. So I will tell you that about 1 million plus of us are starting up one initiative or the other. It's talking to, some people have a group of 20, some have a group of 40, some have a group of 30, some are right at the forefront, so some are right on the grassroots. So I'm happy that this is happening. And coming from my own background, being in product management, I do understand traction. I do understand the numbers. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
I do understand that. Yeah, you start from one customer, then get 5, and then get 20, and then get 100, and then get 1,000.
Yeah.
So I believe this is where we are in Nigeria. We now have actively, if you look at it right now, as of 2019, we had about 84 million registered voters in 2019.
Yeah.
And half of that were young people, about 40 million plus young people. That's like 1/4 of the total not just 1/4, about 40%, 50% of the
total population. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have PVCs, and they're young people. So when I see these figures, I don't want to say, oh, the young people are slow. It's progressive, So I also want to give it time. It means that we've got more work to do. The NSAS protest just happened about 2020 November.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about 1 year, 8 months into it.
Yeah.
So and this is how far we've come. So it's a good thing to see it. People like us are still pushing to get more numbers in the electoral process, to advocate for more policies and all of that. So it's a good thing. So I'll just cap it up here to say that young people are now more than ever interested. We really just need the support.
Okay.
We need individuals who would embrace us and see that, hey, what you're doing, it's great. We acknowledge it. We see this. Come and have a seat on the table. Let's talk about this. That's what we need.
Wow.
And
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
When you're talking about older generation calling you to come and sit on the table, I will tell you, I will disappoint you. That would never happen. Okay. Yeah, that's the truth. Okay. You guys need to fight from bottom up. Okay. Get your candidates vying for election. Okay. Get them into office. You guys need to go and get it. They would never call you to the table. Okay. So don't dream of it. Yeah. If you wait for that, it won't happen.
Realistically, it won't.
It won't happen. But if you guys get your act together and you run for office and you win in a few strategic places, then they will know, these kids are coming.
Yeah.
And then they will be forced to come to you and say, hey, come to the table. So they're not coming to they're not asking you to come to the table because they are so happy about you.
Yeah.
They're doing it because they know if they don't do it, they will be run out of town. Okay, so don't wait for them to say, hey, come. It won't happen. Anyway, so I see what you're doing. when I saw that you had hosted a large gathering of undergraduate students in 74 colleges and universities in 30 states of the country.
Yeah.
That's large. Okay. So how did you do that?
So I believe with strategic thing, I think that's what we as young people have, and that's the power of technology.
Yeah.
I think we're really just seeing this. We're having this conversation now. Thanks. I wouldn't say thanks to. Yeah, the other day I was thinking about
thanks to Zoom, please.
I mean, yes, but before Zoom, I mean, COVID-19 had to happen, and then we realized that, oh wow, we could actually do this virtually.
Yeah.
So that also added to, okay, wow, it means we can reach as many people as possible. So how can we use technology to get into those schools? I've got students from Borno states that would terrify me to go because of the insecurity. But I've got students there all over 31 states in total, from about 74 universities. And you'll be surprised that this project wasn't funded by anybody, not one person. I just was able to pull a few strings and have these things going. So that is what one person can do. Imagine if you have 3, 4, 20 of us thinking this way. Imagine the reach we'll definitely have. And I'm really happy that the students, because this is also the time where the students were on strike. And imagine if the ASU strike wasn't even there. I tell you, would have had more
students,
thousands of more students. Yeah, would have really, really had that. So, I mean, thanks. Yeah, it did happen.
Wow. So you are reaching young people, but I guess most, if not all, of the people you are reaching out to are either university graduates or university undergraduates, right?
Undergrads.
Okay. So then you guys have a lot of more work to do, because I don't think half of the youths actually go to universities. Okay, so there is a lot of work to do. See?
Yes, so I should say, so the reason why we went for the university, that target audience, is that these ones are the ones who can go talk to their cousins back at home.
Yeah.
They can go talk to the parents. In fact, they become our messengers. So whatever we're saying to them, they pass it down to 20 cousins. Because also one of the things we're doing is that we're initiating the campus civic engagement scheme. And even in the scheme, we've also called for students who are good at translating our materials, even in their local dialect.
Okay.
So it means that I'm talking to you in English, but you can translate what I've said to Ibibo, to Efik, to this, to that, to that. And then you can spread that around through your cousins to take it back home. So again, it's a power that young people have, and it's a power that we have with technology. Yes, we there's still much work to do.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't take us a century to do it. It would just give us a couple more years and so on, and we'll go around the country.
Well,
what we're trying to do, right?
Abiye, you are very, very optimistic. I like that. Okay. See, I'm not trying to put water on your fire, but I see the fight to get what you guys want and what, to me, the country needs to get you young people in position, okay, of leadership. I see that fight for me, it hasn't even started. It hasn't started. Okay. And I see the older generation still in position to stamp out. You guys, look at it. The candidates, the aspirants who have indicated their intention to run for the highest office. Who are they? What is their age range?
Yeah.
They are mostly old people. The same people who have been running the country for decades. Yeah, I was glad when I saw that the current CBN governor indicated that today that he intends to contest. Okay, that's good. You know, we need more people below 65. You know, but the people who most people think are at the forefront, Tinubu, the vice president. Is Atiku contesting this time? Has he indicated?
No, I haven't seen seen an indication from him yet.
Okay. See, but I mean, so my point is this: you guys have a long way to go. Okay. I don't want to douse your fire, but I'm only telling you, you guys have a long way to go. And one thing I noticed, you said after the NSAS protest, yes, you guys realized that you need to do it the right way, okay, through the elections, okay. But what concerns me, my concern here is that you guys are creating so many different organizations and factions. So, see, it's good for you guys to talk to each other, to collaborate, to merge. You know, I don't know on what principles or whatever you need to come together, but in terms of, I don't know how much you guys have sat down to say, this is what we believe, and this is why. That for me, this is the most important thing. Why you want this, okay? Because you can say you want this, you want that, but if you don't have a real a concrete reason that makes sense, then you guys might be wanting things that at the end of the day, the electorate will see, what is this? I don't want it. So see, this is time for you guys to come together to start documenting things and putting this out.
Yeah. So if I could say that it's a good thing to, like I did share that, many of you, I'm a very optimistic and strategic person.
That's good.
And I'm just saying, like, even with what I started at with PVC, it's just about 14, 17 months ago.
Yeah.
So many of us are just realizing this, and we all should. I'm even now happy that I've got some invitations from really reputable organizations, even here in Nigeria, that I will be affiliated with.
Okay.
And there are other smaller groups who also want to be affiliated with me. That way, we're all bringing all of this together. So if you're able to reach 20%, that's all right. Some I know a lady who is reaching out to the widows, so she's doing that with them. Some are doing that with the MSMEs, that the small scale and medium-sized enterprises.
Yeah.
They are doing that, giving them 5,000 now to run a daily business and so on. They're doing that with them. So I'm doing this on campus. Some other ones are doing it here and there. So it's a good thing that we're all doing this. You can see that we will definitely come together eventually. Having this conversation, I believe even your listeners who are also doing one thing or the other, even listening to me, would like to even be connected with me. And also knowing that I could go to your podcast as I began to listen and see what others are doing. I could go listen and also get connected with them. We're all coming together. So it's a good thing that we should go spread out, do as much as we can. You reach the north, I reach the south. You reach those who are educated, I reach those who are non-educated. You reach the souths. You reach everyone. And eventually we're all going to come together. So I won't say I'm very optimistic that 2023, there's going to be a massive, drastic change. I wouldn't say that because we only just got here about 14 months ago from the NSAS protest. We would have bought, time. We would have gone to strategic positions, right from the House of Reps and so on and so forth. So maybe 2027, we'll begin to see more young people. You never can tell. I may also be one of those ones running for one thing or the other, because it would mean that we have built momentum for 5 good years, from the NSAS protest to 2027. We have done this, we have done that. It would be very evident that you can see that, man, these guys are the right ones who should go for this post. And then we've mobilized the young people, mobilized the youth, they're aware of us, So I see that we needed to get here at this place right now so that we can have a better future. And then eventually kick off these guys out of those positions. They would not be able to. The only thing they have, the only advantage, I won't say an advantage, they only have access to wealth, access to the monies that they've hidden here and there. We don't have that. But however, we have goodwill, we have evidence of proven work, which they don't have. So what the young people need to do is, like I did talk about this on the Twitter space, talk about all those guys coming for president. You guys should go on, be creative, find out where they stand in education, find out where they stand in government, in corruption, find out where, because in the US will say, oh, this is Biden, this is Trump, for education, this is where he stands, for student loans, blah, 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 healthcare. We need to see all of that so that we're not just brainwashed by, I want to be president. What are you going to be president for? What political issue are you going to, fix? So the next summit we have, the next summit I'm putting up together is the youth influencing the political agenda. Youth influencing the political agenda. And what we're encouraging young people is we're stirring them from thinking about political parties, political figures, to political issues that affect their day-to-day life. That is what we want to see in the manifestos. And strategically, how would these groups or political parties, how will they be able to meet these? So there's so much more I can tell you that thinking as young people.
Yeah. Right. You talked about getting into civic engagement, and I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you're interested in educational reform from the perspective of young Africans. So what are the major challenges that the country need to resolve in those spaces?
Yeah, so I think our education in Nigeria and Africa mainly theoretical. Even the lecturers who go, it's a saying that those who don't do teach, or something like that. It's something like that. Those who don't do teach, So you have these people who go read a program 20, 40 years ago. They have archaic manuals of 1980, and then they just keep recycling those notes. But they have never ever put to work, what they've even studied. So just take a look at that. So Nigeria or Africa developed, there was a curriculum for the workforce. So then, but that's not functional now. You have young people who want to do IT, who want to go into sound engineering, who want to go into this engineering, and you only have those who are 70 and 80 and 60 still teaching the same thing. Like, imagine I study electrical engineering, but not one time, aside my industrial training, did I go to any electrical, facility or anything like that. And I did 5 years in school. So we're only just doing theoretical knowledge, and then you get out. We get out of these schools. So where do we now find work? So we're also not employable because we do not have the experience. We only just gathered a cake 20 years ago notes that was just handouts, that we had to memorize, and the lecturers had to recycle. So now that's a huge problem, because you have millions of us in our universities, but we will never find productive work immediately we get it. That's why when people get out of universities, they go do hand beading, they go do bake cakes. Is that what you did? Is that what you do study in school? So there has to be a reform in our education. And that's why I believe career guidance is really key. And we're missing it in career guidance in Nigeria and Africa, where students do not get the proper guidance, even from subject selection, from JSS3. Now, JSS3 is when you decide, oh, I'm going to be an art student, I'm going to be a science student. Now, many students would just say, you know what, I'll do science because my dad is an engineer, or I'm going to do art because my best friend is in arts. And no one is really giving the students any form of guidance until they get into SS3. And instead of career guidance, you have admission guidance. That's when you're now looking for what university to go to, but you have no career. You've never had gone through career guidance. Now you go into these universities, and then it's a shock to you because, oh my goodness, I had other skills. I would have done this, I've done that. Or people going to medicine because parents wanted them to go into medicine.
Yeah.
They wanted, like for me, I studied, I went into electrical engineering because my words were like, hey, you're good in maths, you're good at this. So it's either mechanical or electrical, choose one. And I said,
you are not
alone,
huh? Me too. The same thing happened to me. So,
yeah, so we have to go fix that. That's an issue. We have to go fix that. I'm only able right now to think about 17-year-olds right now, 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds who would make the same mistakes that we made, and how would they be able? Like we now hustle because this our generation, my generation. I won't say your generation, but my generation. We also have to hustle. But nowadays, these young guys can hustle. They can't even walk to the street, walk to school. We would walk to school and learn street smartness, trade something in school, but these students don't do anything like that. So when they go study, how would they, so I think we really need career guidance is something I'm really pushing for, and I want to push it up to the highest level. That'll be early career guidance from JSS3, so that students are able to ideate their careers. And what is career ideation? Just as you would ideate any business as to your target audience, market fit, etc. Let us bring that concept into career guidance. So you can ideate your own career before SS3 when you make that career decision. And whilst you're in university, like I schooling in University of Port Harcourt, never attended. There was nothing like a career guidance or career navigation, even for undergraduate students. Because I reached out to 2 universities and I spoke with the deans, and there's nothing like that in the universities. So these students are only just reading for exams and trying to make grades and then getting out of school, but never going on the path of career guidance. And that's ridiculous. And it's also now contributing to our unemployment rate. So we need to treat that from early enough. That's why I'm championing career guidance also.
See, what you're saying is absolutely correct. But it's much more complicated. One, like you said, we have university professors, all of them old school. Okay, very few of them have, let me use the word, modern knowledge of most things. Okay, so they come to class, talk about something which they learned 30, 40 years ago. Okay. In any endeavor of life, the things that have happened in the last 5 years has totally rubbished most of the stories they teach 10, 15 years ago. Okay. Yes, students still need to learn the history of that subject. Okay. But the core of the things they should be taught should be the advancement in those areas, in different areas of life. Yeah, that's the more relevant things for them to learn. Okay. Yes, they learn the history, and then they learn the things which are more important in them moving forward. Okay, that's important. Now, yes, we need career guidance from secondary school. Like you said JS says 3, yeah?
From JSS 3, ninth grade.
That's very important. Now, what I have difficulty with is this. I have two teenage daughters, okay? So one is in A level, one is going to do her equivalent of a SS3 exam next year. Okay. Now, I have this difficulty. For me, I like to learn very different things. When I say very different, from history to science, various areas of science, economics, politics, everything. That's me. Okay. Yeah. And somehow I have this notion that people need to learn a little bit of as many different things as possible. Okay. Yes, especially in undergraduate school in university. So yes, you have a major which you are pursuing. Okay, but for us, we need to diversify the different classes we attend in university, because for me, our classes are too narrow, too early. Okay, for me, the first 2 years in university, young people should be encouraged to do as many different courses as possible. And then by the time they get to the third year, they can now focus more on their own path. Okay, that will do this. It will actually educate people, so that just because you're not a science student doesn't mean you don't understand the history of science, the philosophy of science. Okay, because look at what happens in this pandemic, for example. Okay, when it came to the vaccine, who are the people who are talking about the vaccine having a chip in it and all this story? The 5G, the kind of people who are making ridiculous statements about it. Okay. Now, and then a lot of people swallow it. Okay. If more people even know a little bit of science, they can now ask more questions. Really, is this possible? See, just asking questions, it doesn't mean you know the thing, but the ability to ask questions, that's what we lack the most: the ability to ask questions. And it's the subjects that teaches you to ask questions are philosophy, science. Okay, so I want more of our undergraduate school students to at least do things in those areas of life. So my point is this.
Yeah.
We need to diversify the kind of things people learn in school. Okay. We don't need to,
I think,
to concentrate it from day one. For the first 2 years, you can run and do a course in accounting, in economics, in politics, even though you are a science student. That's my point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the parents should also, the parents should hear this, because parents are forcing their children at 14, 15 to go into university, to even jump or skip classes, just so that they don't pay fees, they don't continue to pay fees. And it's for me, it's this. So when I had the first career expo, and I expected to see more people come in, but I didn't see many students, and I was like, oh my goodness, the parents are the ones who are supposed to be targeted, because they make these career decisions for their students. So the parents actually do need an orientation about this. So why don't you encourage a child who has just finished secondary school at 17 or at 16? Why don't you encourage a child to take a gap year, a 2-year gap year, just to discover him or her own self, her own interests, to explore. That we don't have students exploring any career path. They only just finish secondary school, boom, they're in university, and it's in the final year they're like, oh my goodness, this is not what I should have been doing. And then they've wasted resources, they've wasted their own time, So you could see that is always happening when students just jump from high school, boom, into university under 6 months. And then they discover that, oh, mom, I don't want to do this. I want to go into music, or I want to do X, Y, Z. I want to go into beauty, And then as a parent, you're not going to feel happy about it, because you just I won't say waste, but imagine if that child had put all of that money into what he or she really had discovered that this is where him or her wants to go. So the parents do need to listen to this. They are the ones who ultimately make this career decision, influence and make these career decisions, on behalf of their children.
Yeah. Well, what you're saying is absolutely correct. What I noticed in the Western world, let's say in the UK, where I am, is that young people start working at 16. Okay, when they're still in secondary school. Okay, so at 16 you can work. Okay, so when they go on holiday, they get work, maybe in the shop. Most of them work in the shop. Okay, but some who have decided they want this or that, they look for holiday employment in that sector. My friend's daughter is going to work in a law firm next long holiday, because she says she wants to be a lawyer. So her mom went to talk to her friend in the law firm, and they agreed to get on board during the holiday. Last holiday, she worked in a African food shop. So people start learning about work at that age. So by the time they're 18, when they finish A levels, they are going to university, they have 2 full holidays of work. Okay, so they are not as novice like the 16-year-olds in Nigeria. See,
yeah.
Now, this is one thing we need to imbibe. to let our kids go and see the world.
Mm.
See, we shelter our kids for whatever reason we think it is. We need to let them go and see the world, experience what the world is. Walk. Okay. If it's a downfall conductor, let him do it. Yeah. Let's see. There are so many things in Nigeria. If we imbibe this habit of letting our kids explore, okay, many people who are in university, okay, might decide not to attend the university if what they actually want in life is not being taught in university. They might say, hey, I need to go there. I need to be I need to work with this artist and learn from him.
Or I need to volunteer as well, because volunteerism is
that's the point.
Culture here.
Yeah. Here, volunteerism is a big thing. We do it a lot. I do it myself. Okay, I volunteer for 2 charities. Okay, so these things are things we need to gradually introduce to our society.
We do.
And see, when we talk about education is not all about university. Okay, there's education in everything we do in life.
I remember saying this to a mother who has a son, 17-year-old son, and I did tell her, that this young man, knowing what I did, knowing the education system in Nigeria, it is just better that he goes to learn a skill. And then she said in the Nigerian broken, so now my picking way no go school. So that's what those parents think.
In this era, okay, if your child decide not to go to a university, it doesn't mean the child is uneducated. See, if you have a secondary school certificate, okay, you are supposed to have the ability to read anything in the world. Okay. Okay. If, for example, you decide this are finished, but what I want to do is be an entrepreneur, and they don't teach this in university. This is what I want. This person is the one person I want to work with, and he will teach me everything he knows. And maybe you get the opportunity to meet him and he agrees to teach you. See, working with that person doesn't stop you from reading every book in the world about economics, about politics, about science, because you know how to read. Okay, so see, I'm not saying that anybody who wants to go to university should. If you want to go to university, you should. But the truth of the matter is this: university is not a fix-all.
No, it's not.
And the truth is that most career paths doesn't include a university education. That's the truth. So it's important for us to get it. Okay, like you said, go and learn a skill. If what you want is to be the best carpenter, do they teach carpentry in university? No. Okay. If what you want is to be the best builder, do they teach that in university? No. Okay, they do architecture, but it's not building. Okay. See, so there are so many things that people can go and learn skills and actually do it at the highest level. And they can still be as smart as anybody who goes to university.
I'm very competitive as well.
Exactly.
Because I'll tell you, I spent while I was in school, university, I knew Coursera. This was about 10 years ago when Coursera was just coming up. And while I was going for, lessons and classes, I'd go online and take a program in Coursera, just knowing things. So many young people would also need to get out of what they are studying, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And we just now explore, look at, okay, what's the trend and so on and so on. But I also did remember after NYC, from 2017 to 2018, I was on Udemy and I was taking a course every month on Udemy.
Very good.
And I've bagged a whole lot of experience.
Very good.
I work with high-profile individuals. I've met with people who work in the UN. I've met with people who work in top management in the oil and gas. And I've never, ever taken my CV to them. Never. I'm doing this here and there. I know the people who I've worked with. And no one has ever asked me, oh, what did you graduate with? Oh, let me see your CV. Never.
Exactly.
It's, hey,
because it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's like, hey, can you deliver A, B, C, D? Oh, I like your work ethics. I mean, you see me here before you even started. That's time management for me, and I'm happy that you gave me that feedback. So imagine that. Oh, your guests are already here even before you're here. It's like, oh wow, this, So we need to see all of these young people. We need to encourage all of this. And I'll say something because I was also talking to my friend who hires some students, not some students, some graduates, and he's like, oh, these guys are so tough, they don't get this, they don't get that. I said, you and I would have been far worse because we belong to a certain association and we got into that association very early and we're able to learn. I was like, we have to go create this environment so that these guys can thrive. So we benefited from this system where I met you, and today we are like the very finest, in that organization. It is now in our responsibility to go create those systems that would help 1,000 more people, 20,000 more students, for the workforce. And that was an eye opener for him as well.
Excellent. See, I'll tell you this. I've told this to many guests of your generation. See, I'm so proud of what I see. Okay. You guys are doing things that I and many in my generation didn't do. Okay, maybe it's just about the opportunities available. Okay, so I'm so proud of what you guys do, but like I said, you guys have more work to do because see, the population of Nigeria in my time, let's say 20 years ago, okay, was about 40 million less than today.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have a lot of work to do. Okay, see, when I say that, I'm not trying to scare you. Okay, I'm trying to tell you there's a lot of work, and a lot of work means a lot of opportunities.
Oh, sure.
And see, I and a friend of mine, we've talked about this several times. She's a local councillor in the town I live in. Okay. When we talk about Nigeria, yes, we see so many difficulties, okay, to do things. But we also say, wow, so many opportunities. And they are. Okay, they are. But we need young people like you to come and take over those things and make them happen. Because if people in the communities don't rise up to take those opportunities and run with them, all we'll do is complain.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just ask you. I know you have in various spaces you have highlighted this, but I want you to drill down in it. What is your advice to young Africans to help them to contribute their quota for their communities?
So I started off saying we would have to rise up to the occasion. That's what I tell many young people I meet. Rise up to the occasion. There are opportunities in Nigeria. Nigeria is not America. Nigeria is not the UK, which means what you see in America, all of these things can actually happen in Nigeria. There's opportunities for you. So you decide to say, you know what, I'm going to pick this niche. I'm going to pick this area. And with our number of 200 million, there's really no way where you won't be successful or great at this. I'd also tell young people to begin to think about building platforms, because this will be those platforms that I'll tell you the truth. With what I'm doing with Campus Civic Summit, I intend to actually have, eventually when we have the president, I want to have the president on my conversation. I want to have him in my space. If I'm gathering as many as 200,000 youths, 200,000 students, I want you to be there. I want you to listen to what we have to say. So when you have those platforms, it is impossible for a table not to be created for you. You build that table, and then you have them sit around it. You know, so that's what I have in mind. So that's what many young people should have in mind.
Great.
It's so tough. It's tough. I know. Economy, no jobs, and all of that. But if you look around you may see one or two people who can lend a hand. And I'll also let the older generation know. If you see a young person who has a path that, you know, this person is focused on, what you can do, because you're the older ones who have the resources. We don't have them.
Yeah.
Support them. I remember getting support from 3 people who kept me on the monthly salary to stay on my path. Without going to look for a job. That I'm not one person who I'm not easily distracted, and I take care of my atmosphere very seriously. And I was able to get 3 people who say, you know what, hey, Abiye, stay on this path, and I will say, I'm gonna pay you a monthly salary, like what you need to stay on this path. I want you there. And I was there for over a year without having to, and I learned so much. I'm only able to do all of this from all of that experience. So if you see a young person who has this type of passion or zeal, who is committed, you see all of these things, put your money where your mouth is. You know, give this guy something to stay afloat. I'm telling you, you'll do that person a huge favor. Because we can't.
Mistake. Wait. They're not doing that person a huge favor. They are doing their community a favor. But on top of that, they are doing themselves a favor. You see, this is the thing. Many of us do not see the correlation with what we do and what our communities are. Okay. The truth of the matter is this. Our community is the way it is because of what we do. Each of us. Okay. The community will change if we change.
That's true.
That's the truth. Okay. The community didn't become the way it is because God made it so. No. you and I made it the way it is. And if you want it to change in any direction, you and I will make it change.
True.
That's the truth. Okay. Yes, we know. Yes, leaders have a big work to do, but also you and I have big work to do. Right. So, Abiye,
thank you.
Let me ask you the last question.
Okay.
Okay. I know you have a big vision for Nigeria. So, what do you expect to see in Nigeria, in Africa, in 20, 30 years' time?
That's, at 20, 30 years' time, I will be like 60 years old.
Yes. you still be young. Very young.
Oh my. Yeah, I mean, I will be 60 and now
you'll be young. You'll be younger than most of our current
oh my
presidential
goodness
aspirants today.
Yes, with all of this knowledge, with all of these things. So I'm happy to be in this space, and I think we're perhaps I'll say we're just selected or chosen by God to move this country and the continent forward. Thank God for the platforms and all of those areas where we get support, information, education, capacity development. I'm happy for that, and our pain points would be. I'm now working on my pain points, like when I grew up as a child, identifying these gaps and filling it. And that's a whole lot more what many people are doing. So I do know that in the next 20, 30 years, Nigeria will be better than what it is right now. We would, when people say be patient, it's not fold your arms and be patient. It's like, hey, we have to also sweat to get this country built. And America today, America is about 250 years. They came from somewhere. The UK today, so far maybe about 1,000 years. I don't know. They didn't just, Dubai is 50 years, and you can see what they've done with 50 years. But you can just see what people who are the right heart and the right mind, you can see what they did in Dubai. You can see what they did in the UK. I think that's where we are.
Yeah.
And I'll say also that our generation of leaders right now never had the exposure that we have. They didn't go to the schools we have. Yep. They don't even know how to use technology like we can use technology. Imagine the president not even being able to send a WhatsApp message. So how do you leave? Because that's something to think about. How do you leave how do you leave Nigeria to be governed by somebody who doesn't know how to use a smartphone in the complexities Nigeria have? And that's what you see in our leadership today. So we now have the advantage of all of these, and I'll tell you that we will put it to good use, by getting the systems that track accountability, because it's what we do in the private sectors. The private sectors are more put together than the public sectors. And now with more of us, getting to knowing all of these, putting all of these tools, we tend to really see a greater Nigeria and a greater Africa with the young people in charge and with the young people bringing all of these ideas and saying, we want to push Africa forward. So I'll tell you that in the next 20, 30 years, we would have to be better, way better off than what we have, currently right now.
Wow, that's good. That's good. But I will tell you this. I will say this again. The Nigeria of today is not necessarily better than the Nigeria 30 years ago. Okay. And that was when I was a young university student. Okay. Now it's where it is today, mostly because people of my generation thought, it would be better. But we didn't actually do anything to make it better. Okay. So my final word to you is this: you and your generation need to do something to continue pushing, okay, in the direction you are on. Continue pushing. Anything you want to see in 30 years' time, continue pushing. Don't just say it will happen. No, it will not happen. Okay?
Yeah.
As long as you know that, okay, as long as you know that and you're determined, it should be there. Thank you very much, Abiye.
Thank you for having me.
Very good. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.